Wow, I've been doing this show for a whole year now. In terms of internet shows, that's kind of. Hang on. After a whole year of doing this, I think I should know better than to leave dead space at the beginning of a video. That's better. Now then, where was I? Oh yes, a whole year. So, what am I going to do for my first anniversary of making dumb internet videos? Well, I started off with a quirky animated musical. How about I round out my first year with another quirky animated musical? Yeah, that'll work. Gentle viewers, I give you Sita Sings the Blues. The main plot is loosely based on the Hindu epic The Ramayana of Valmiki. For those who aren't up on their Hindu epics, the Ramayana is the story of Rama, an avatar for one of the chief Hindu gods, Vishnu, and his wife, Sita. Although, to be fair, the movie mainly concerns itself with Sita's part of the story, leaving out a good chunk about Rama and his actions. Juxtaposed against this ancient story is the story of the director of the movie, Nina Paley, and the breakup of her marriage. How do these two disparate stories fit together? Surprisingly well, actually. This movie has a lot going for it. A variety of art styles to keep visual interest, a nifty soundtrack provided by 1920s torch song singer Annette Henshaw, and a clever script that makes the story of Rama and Sita relatable to a modern audience. The animation makes use of a variety of styles, including hand-drawn animation, flash, collage, think Monty Python, and even rotoscoping. The hand-drawn stuff is a little rough around the edges, but it's also the most personal part of the movie, so I can't really fault it. However, the rest of the animation is very well done, with a vibrancy that really makes it pop on the screen. The script is clever and even laugh-out-loud funny in places. There are 3 narrators in the film that give a general overview of the Ramayana. Incidentally, all of the narration was unscripted, and all 3 are from various parts of India and give their own personal interpretations of the story, while the director gives her own interpretation of the story through the lens of her divorce and the music of Annette Henshaw. Speaking of Annette Henshaw, she was a jazz singer and radio star in the 1920s and 30s. She's not well known today at all, which is kind of a shame because she had a nice voice and interpreted the songs very well. Most of the songs fit the tone and action of the story well, and the way that Paley works her animation around the songs makes them a lot of fun to listen to as well as watch. Some of the songs don't fit as neatly into the action as others, but that's a small gripe considering how well they're interpreted by both the singer and the animator. Okay, I should probably discuss the 2 rather large and brightly colored elephants in the room. First of all, there's the issue that this classic of world culture, and one of the most popular stories in Hindu mythology, is being interpreted by a white American woman who doesn't have the history with the story that a native of India, where the story takes place, would have. Now, Tumblr can scream cultural appropriation all it wants, but I don't see it that way. The Ramayana is popular all over Southeast Asia, and it's been reworked and rewritten by various cultures and belief systems over the 1500 or so years that the story has been around. The version that we have today is itself a product of revisions and rewritings between the time that the story first appeared, sometime either in the 4th or 5th centuries BCE, and the 11th century CE, which is the date given to the oldest surviving printed copy. So, reinterpretations of the story from one culture to another are nothing new, and the fact that in this case it's being interpreted by an American woman shouldn't make that much of a difference in the long run. The other factor that some people might find objectionable is that Rama is kind of a side character in this story, and isn't presented in the most flattering light. But I will remind those people that the movie isn't called Rama Sings the Blues, it's called Sita Sings the Blues. This is Sita's story, and as such, she is the central character that the movie is concerned with. Also, this movie is looking at the story from a very modern/Western perspective, and in that light, Rama does seem to be unnecessarily harsh towards Sita. Of course, time and cultural differences are a factor here, and if it's something that really worries you, you can find a copy of the Ramayana pretty easily and read it for yourself. The only other thing that I would note is that the rotoscope sequence in the middle does have a few flashing images, so if you're sensitive to that, it is something to be aware of. From a legal standpoint, this film is pretty unique. The director decided to make the film available for free, at first under a Creative Commons license, which has since been changed to a public domain license. This means that you can download and freely distribute the film, or cut it up into smaller parts and rearrange it, and no one will sick a pack of lawyers on you for doing so. As far as I can tell, barring really old works, this is unique, and I kind of wish that more filmmakers would do something similar. And as digital distribution becomes more and more the standard way to release a film, I think that we might see more cases of filmmakers distributing their films freely to audiences. Or at least I hope we will. At any rate, the free distribution without studio backing does have one drawback. The film has to depend on word of mouth for its advertising, which is probably why this film flew under the radar for a lot of people. This was clearly a passion project for the director, and as such, there's a lot of the director's heart and personality in the film that I found pretty enjoyable. It's obvious that she put a lot of time, work, and soul into this film, and I think that makes the film that much better. This is one of those quirky little films that needs more exposure, which I am happy to give. You can download this one for free at its website, and while you're there, you can also download a director's commentary that has a lot of fun behind-the-scenes stuff about the making of the film, as well as some of the copyright problems that Nina Paley fell into while making the film. It's really interesting stuff, and I would recommend downloading both. While you're at the website, you can float a little money Miss Paley's way by buying some nifty Sita merch at the store, or you can just donate directly. Either way. So yeah, apparently I'm an advocate for this movie and Nina Paley's work in general now. I'm okay with that.
I'm lost in the dark. Where is the spark for my love? I'm lost in the night, holding the light of my love. The heavens opened and closed, as well I might have supposed.